Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is from Dark Arts Whiskey House. This is their straight rye whiskey finished with toasted Amburana staves, coming in at a 54% ABV, 6.5 years old. Now, for full disclosure, I reached out to the Dark Arts Whiskey House for a review sample. They were kind enough to send this over for us to take a look at and a review, so just keeping that transparency open. So the Dark Arts Whiskey House is actually based out of Lexington, Kentucky, and they're doing some really cool things with being transparent about what they're bottling and what they're putting on the shelves, which that's one big thing we love here on the channel. So what they're actually doing is sourcing a 95% rye, 5% malted barley coming from Indiana, so most likely MGP, and not that there's anything wrong with MGP whiskey. If that's the case, MGP makes some great whiskey, especially in their rye scene. And this is actually a blend of 3 barrels, aging between 6 and 8 years old to make up this. Again, and then finishing it with those toasted Amburana staves. And kind of a Spark Notes version of Amburana wood. It comes from South America, and they actually use it to finish and make their national spirit down there. And a limited amount of it actually gets exported out of South America. And what do we do with it? We finish whiskey with it. And the nice thing is, since they're using staves, they can kind of control that finishing process because Amburana itself can be a very high impact wood when it comes to spirits. So let's just go ahead and jump into things with all that great information. As always, we're going to be trying it 2 different ways. First way, neat, no ice, no water. Second way, we'll add just a drop of water, see if anything changes up. I will give them props on these sample bottles. I've never had anybody go through the trouble of doing waxing on samples like this. It's phenomenal. I love that. Be interested on how to crack this open. We're going to try our best here. Hopefully I can just peel it up. Oh yeah, there we go. Not so bad. But as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, become a member if you'd like. I will be reviewing their other releases coming out of the Dark Arts Whiskey House. So those links will be up above and down below when those videos are live, along with a link to their website. So you can go check them out for yourself if you're interested in picking yourself up a bottle, all that kind of good stuff. I think I got it off enough. Ooh, yep, I did. Oh, it's already jumping out of the glass. Oh, I'm excited. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Amburana finished products. I know some people aren't, but to each their own. As always, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. Beautiful dark color there. Gorgeous. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had a rye finished in Amburana yet. So, let's go for notes. Oh, that is the most phenomenal thing I have smelled in like months. All right, so I think I've kind of wrapped my head around everything going on here. I was really excited about this bottle, and it has not disappointed, I'll say that much on the nose. Right up front, you get that big, bold, spicy 95.5 rye. It's herbal, medicinal. You get a bit of clove and cinnamon going on. The floralness in there as well. They can kind of start coming out as you get older bits of Indiana rye. It's all showing up in there. The spicy characteristics going on in there. Beautiful. Then this bit of toasted cinnamon sugar cereal going on, almost like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And it is sweet and sugary, and it's just got such a deep layer of butteriness going on. And then you get a bit of charriness in there as well, coming from those toasted staves. Oh, and as you just let it sit there, it gets stronger and stronger. The finishing process here is phenomenal, and I can tell that they really honed that in to a T, because you're letting that rye not be dominated by the Amburana, which can happen, don't get me wrong. But you get the sweet spiciness of both sides, dry cinnamon stick that's been grated up on there. It is just a great nose. Even a little bit of fruit sweetness going on in there as well. I'd say like a Granny Smith apple tartness. Just a little bit in there. All right, let's go for a taste. That might be one of the best Amburana finish products I've ever tasted. I'm salivating so much right now because of how phenomenal it is on the palate. So right away, you get this big old burst of that herbal, medicinal, that dilly rye going on in there, that dill note showing up beautifully. That floralness is going on as well. But then it's also met with that cinnamon sugar, and it's almost like you have a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, you just poured milk over it, and you're getting a creaminess factor going on in there. That sweet cinnamon, clove, nutmeg. The spice layers are just to a T. And the finish on it's still lingering on the palate. It's got so much body in there, and the proof point is precise. It is sweet and yet spicy. I'm actually getting a bit of that green apple tartness in there as well. Again, I had high hopes for this one, and they don't disappoint. It's phenomenal. And I'm going to say that the cinnamon that you get in here is not your typical cinnamon. It actually reminds me of the cinnamon bark that you can get from the store from like Mexico, where it's got a bit of sweetness going on in there from that as well. The char layers are there, the caramel, the oak, the vanillas, all playing beautifully. And again, I'm getting a lot of creaminess going on. I'm going to have to hunt down a bottle of this because I don't get it here in Indiana, so I'm going to have to see if somebody can ship this to me. I want this as a shelf-stable bottle. Like, no arguments in my book. Beautifully done. Phenomenally done. All right, let's add a little drop of water, see if anything changes up. I'm going to try to control that. It's a little hard to pour out of. Look at me complaining. Let's add a little drop in here. I'm curious what'll happen. We do this for the sake of science. We don't necessarily hold this against the spirit itself. Again, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. But sometimes that little drop of water helps us find some additional notes. So, let's find out. So honestly, it goes very simple. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. You still get a bit of the spice, a bit of the Amburana, that brown sugar, cinnamon kind of mix going on in there. It's actually really nice too. But it definitely doesn't have the same body or the cling on the nose the neat version has. Right away, you're just getting all that beautiful spices, that Amburana finish. Everything there is still coming out to a T. Here, it just goes very soft, very simple. A little bit of spice, a little bit of the brown sugar sweetness in there. Nothing against it. Still nothing harsh, no ABV, no off notes. So, let's go for a taste. Honestly, the taste is really good too. Everything's kind of dialed back, which is expected. So you're still getting a bit of that herbal, the medicinal, the floral going on in there from the rye, and you're still getting a lot of the characteristics from the Amburana finish. Definitely doesn't have the same cling or the same finish. Everything kind of speed runs itself a little bit, but it doesn't break up to the point of being off. It just goes very nice. Honestly, if this was my first sip and initially trying this, I've been like, yeah, it's all right, not too bad. But once you had the neat version, it's night and day different. The impact, both sides of that coin, one being the rye, one being the Amburana finish, balanced together so well. But this is basically the neat version. I'd say dialed back about 40%. So it's still a really solid sip. So, all right, let's talk about market price. Because we all know market price is a market price, and it's always going to vary. So looking around online and places like that, this tends to run at about $90 for a full bottle. And to be honest, I don't see anything wrong with that. Amburana wood is not a cheap finishing product. Most of your bottles that do it are up in that price range. That 95.5 rye they sourced is beautiful. The age statement is there. It's got a great finish, great proof point on everything. To a T, this is what I wanted when I seen a straight rye whiskey finish this way. For $90, I'll buy one. I'll hunt one down next time I'm somewhere that sells their products, and I will purchase one of these because that is a beautiful example of taking a finishing process, being transparent about your start to finish, everything in between, and releasing great product. bravo. I really darn love that one. And again, if you're interested in learning more about the Dark Arts Whiskey House, a link to their website will be down in the description area below. Go show them some love. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Dark Arts Whiskey House straight rye whiskey finished with toasted Amburana staves. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should go looking for, also let me know down below. Love doing these reviews and sharing with you the experience at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, and I even like it might